Gilmore.
Tomorrow, the people of Britain will have an opportunity of voting in a general election. And be careful for what you'd wish for. It could catch on, you know.
Could we have Deputy?
At least.
Could we have Deputy Gilmore with us?
At least they'll have an opportunity to cast a vote and to elect a new parliament and to decide who should be governing the country. The problem here is that you don't have the bottle to give the people of this country the same opportunity. Now I know that you know, it's perfectly clear from Taoiseach's disposition, and you know, despite the fact that you've lost the confidence of the people and you no longer have a mandate to govern, that you have no immediate intention of giving the people an opportunity of having their say like they have in Britain tomorrow. But there is no excuse whatever for you denying the people of Donegal and the people of South Dublin and the people of Waterford of having their full representation here in Dáil Éireann. Now, later today, Deputy Caoimhín Ó Cuaillán and his Sinn Féin colleagues will have a motion before this House to move the writ for the by-election in Donegal. There are also by-elections pending in South Dublin and in Waterford. Donegal has been down a TD since the 8th of June last, that's 11 months. South Dublin is down a TD for 14 out of the past 22 months. Waterford has been short now since Martin Cullen resigned on the 8th of March. Now, people in these constituencies in Donegal, Dublin and Waterford have the same concerns about job losses and businesses in trouble and shortage of credit and people with difficulties paying their mortgage and people who are worried about their future. And I believe that they have a right to have their full representation here in Dáil Éireann. So, Taoiseach, the question I want to ask you today is, when are you going to allow the people of Donegal, the people of South Dublin and the people of Waterford complete their full representation here in the Dáil, and when are you going to set a date for the 3 by-elections? The flaw in the Taoiseach's logic: if the mandate to govern comes from the Dáil, then it should surely come from a full Dáil, and it should therefore not come from just from a Dáil where there are now, for the first time in a very, very long time, 3 seats which have not been filled. Every time you ask this question, Taoiseach, you have a way of dodging it. Tell us the government hasn't made a decision. You're making it sound as though the right of people to be represented in Dáil Éireann is some kind of a form of political patronage that can be doled out by Fianna Fáil, and that a by-election is something that can be handed out like a national lottery grant. It's not like that, Taoiseach. People have a right to vote in elections and to have their full representation here. And you're now in the ludicrous situation that if we ask you a question here about when are you going to have the election for the Dublin mayor, you'll find every reason under the sun to give us a vague answer rather than commit yourself to a date for that election, lest you might have to have the by-elections on the same date. There is a long overdue referendum on children's rights, and every time that you're asked about when are you going to set a date for the referendum on children's rights, you'll have some other kind of a vague answer for that. Again, in case you're pinned down and you might set a date, and if you set a date for the referendum on children's rights, you're going to have the 3 by-elections. I have rarely seen any Taoiseach, or indeed the head of any government anywhere, running so scared of the public than you are now. Set the date for the by-elections and allow the people of Donegal and South Dublin and Waterford to have their right, a right that was fought for by people who have gone before us, to have representation in the Dáil and to have their full representation here and to accept the verdict of the people. And then when we do that, when we have those 3 by-elections, then we can put to the test again whether you do in fact have a mandate in the Dáil to continue governing. Here, here.